Hello and welcome to the Scale Modelling Cafe, and welcome to a quick review I just thought I'd do on one of the books I brought back out with me. And it's this from Phoenix Publications. It's a kind of bookzine style format. You see, it's not overly thick, but it's packed full of gouge on the early Navy Phantoms. So US Navy and Marine Corps versions. The presentation is really nice. I really like these. I've got the Wild Weasel one, which was really nice, and that inspired me to get this, and I am going to get some more based on this one. So why don't we just pop over to the bench, and I'll just take you through a few pages, and then I'll offer my thoughts at the end.
Okay, here we are at the bench. Now, when we open the book, obviously we've got the contents page, but on the other side are detailed all the other books that are in the series so far. Here's the Wild Weasel one that I have, highly recommended. A couple on the F-16 there, which I'm really tempted by as well. Starts off with a bit of an introduction and the kind of history behind the project. Then it goes through chronologically, pretty much in order of the different variants. So the prototypes and the A, and then after that, obviously, we'll go into the B and G. Now, the G was a modified B, as it tells you in the text. As you can see, the photographs are lovely, mixed of sort of black and white and colour, but something like this, you really get some good weathering tips on how the paint sort of faded and the aeroplanes got grimy. Note, not big shadows all over the panel lines, particular bugbear of mine. This one stood out to me. This is one of those aforementioned Gs with some avionics modifications on it in the all over green, but really patchy. You can see where it's been touched up. Some chipping on the nose there. Really like that. And obviously some bright orange versions. The drone, the Q. Then onto the J. And again, in the text, it tells you the all the crucial sort of dates and the modifications. Things like that. Some really nice colourful pictures, you can see, some Blue Angels stuff at the bottom. Onto the N and the QF4N, so obviously the N was the modified B. Again, the good thing about model is it reference in here is it does mention all the differences and the external differences as well. So the big one being this sort of ECM type jobby on the intake, for example. One thing you don't get in this book is there are no sort of line diagrams, if you like. There's a word I'm looking for that I really cannot, that's not coming to mind. Not profiles, because there are profiles in here, as we'll see in a minute. Here's the recce one. Plans, that's it, that's what I'm looking for, scale plans. Right, some really nice colourful colour profiles, which are really nice, and a good choice as well. Obviously most of them are in the sort of gold grey over white, sort of the classic Vietnam, but there are some sort of later schemes, some all over grey ones. Here's that all over green of the F4G. Then there's a list of all the squadrons that operated the type, which is nice. A summary of all the different variants, so this is essentially a summary of what's in the text. Walk around photos. Now, you're going to love this if you are a fan of derelict aeroplanes, because this is, as you can see, a derelict one. But some brilliant weathering down here. Really quite inspirational for the likes of me. And some of the sort of hot metal effects down the back end here. Now, obviously, this one's been all cleaned up at some point because it was really quite dirty, grimy and smoky down the back. But little details like this, where you can see all the weathering on this sort of lumpy thing at the front here. Yeah, some really nice pictures. This one less so, but some nice sort of panel lines. You can see where the rivets are, things like that. And then we're into the model builds. So the first one is James Ashton building the F4C from, what am I saying, F4C. I'm building the F4C. I said that because it's the Zukimura kit, and I'm building the F4C at the moment. Apologies, it's the J in Cunningham and Driscoll's Showtime 100, obviously a very popular modelling subject. So that's that one. The next one, Alan Kelly builds the Tamiya B, and that is a kit that I really want to build because I'm a huge Tamiya fan. Made his own masks and sprayed the tail, which I think is a really good job there. Something well worth doing. Oh, look at that. Ammo Mix anti-slip paste. I might have to get some of that. Right, Rene van der Hart building the Hasegawa RF4B. Now, I always thought the RF4B had raised panel lines in certain areas, such as on the tail, but he says no in this one. So there we are. Maybe they have updated the mould since I last checked it out. Nice scheme in that green tail. Ashley Dunn building the Academy F4J. Now, I think the Academy kit is kind of been overlooked a bit now. Now we've got the Zukimura kit coming out, now the Tamiya kit. But if you want a J, I would highly recommend the Academy kit. I've built it myself. I think it's a lovely kit. You do need to get some photo etch for around the cockpit. Obviously a bit of wiring required in there. But yeah, I really rate the Academy kit, not least for the one-piece fuselage. The Zukimura kit with the separate slats and the spine insert and everything, it is over-engineered and it's a bit of a pain, but I really like the Academy kit. And then lastly, Hans Spuit, apologies if I've mullered your name there, Hans, but another Academy kit. This is the N this time, on a scratch-built deck, which is really nice. No in-progress shots, just 3 shots of the final one, but all the gouge you need is in the text. And that's it. And then right at the very end, just a colour chart with all the different paints, which I think is a really nice touch. There we are. That is the Phoenix Publications Phantom on the Navy and Marine Corps versions. Let's pop back over to the chair and we'll have a bit of a wash up.
Okay, there we are. That is the Phoenix Publications book on the Navy Phantoms. There are others in the series, the USAF and export versions, which is out soon. I think they're really good books. They're not that expensive. You do get, as you saw, some of the some model builds from contributors to the Phoenix magazines. So top quality builds there, especially Rene, who I think is an absolute genius. One sort of a couple of little critiques, I would say. The first one is, having read this already, is the text. The sentences are quite short, so it's quite as you're reading it. So I found it a little bit of a difficult to read, if I'm honest. However, given their due, it's a way of sort of cramming in all the data into short chapters. So if that was their intent, then fair enough. But it does make it, a bit difficult to read. And the other criticism I would have is all the projects in here are 1/48th. I really do think they could have mixed it up a bit and maybe done the Tamiya 32nd kit and maybe the Hasegawa Hobby 2000 72nd kits, fine mould 72nd kit, something like that, just to mix up the scales a bit. It's interesting to compare the Hasegawa, the Academy, the Zukimura, all in 48th. I get it from that point of view, but it just would have been nice to mix up the scales, because if you're a 72nd scale modeller, yeah, the modelling in here, yeah, alright, it's not your scale. Don't get me wrong, you'll still sort of get enjoyment from it and learn from it, you know, if you do build exclusively in 72nd scale. But that would just be my it's just my thoughts on it, really. It sounds like I'm doing it down. I'm absolutely not. I loved it. I think it's fantastic publication. The photographs are great. The modelling projects in there are great as well. And yeah, it's just a couple of minor points there. But I am going to go and get the other ones in the series. Like I say, I've got the Wild Weasel one, but I'm definitely going to get the other Phantom ones when they come along. There we are. Right. I hope you enjoyed that. So I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.